I don't want to get too hot in here.
You can see that. You should do more.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And our quote of the day comes from Jim Rohn, and it says, "Formal education will make you a living. Self-education makes you a fortune." I know usually you guys are used to seeing me outside by the lake doing a little bit different. You guys know it's like a tropical storm / hurricane going on. So we moved the podcast inside. We're actually in my family's business, A Postal Pack and Ship. If you live in Broward, come check us out. Quick plug. But I have a guest today. This is someone I've known since high school. We went to the same college. We've kept up with each other even after graduating. And I would like to welcome you guys to my guest, Jovan, man. Appreciate you.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good.
So this is my first time having a guest, actually. You're my first guest. And it's funny because this happened literally last minute. Yeah. No cap, right?
I'll message you today.
You messaged me today. My first episode dropped this morning. I'm assuming you peeped it on Instagram. Yeah. He hit me up. He's from Broward. So he saw Blvd of Champions. He's like, hold on, I know that street name. So I know that probably resonated with you a little bit different than other people who aren't from here. Yeah. So I appreciate having you on and you being my first guest, man. It means a lot to me. Yeah. And it's even more cool that I know you. You're from the city I grew up in. Because I say all the time, a lot of people don't get to make it out of North Lauderdale,
That's
out
facts.
of Broward.
Yeah,
and
facts.
when you do make it out, you don't want to come back.
Facts.
So, man, tell me what's been going on with your life. We're going to talk about this low-key flex you got going on, traveling everywhere. We're going to get to there, but tell me what's going on in your life, man. How you doing?
So I've been doing good. So I graduated in 2017 from UCF with a sports and exercise science degree. And since then, after I graduated, I've been through a couple different jobs. But with the first job that I got after graduation, I used my first paycheck to start a business.
Okay.
And that business, at first, when I just created my LLC with my first paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
When I created my LLC, I didn't know what my business was going to be about. And at that time, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a laptop, I didn't have...
You just knew you wanted to start a business.
I just knew that after the information that... The quote that I said is formal education will make you live, and self-education will make you a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm living that right now in my life. I was going to college, I was getting that formal education.
Correct.
But I was also self-educating myself. During college, I read about 75 books. And used the information that I was reading in that book. It was business books and personal development books. Mm-hmm. And I applied the information that I read in those books, because one of the books I read is called Start Your Own Corporation.
Okay.
And in that book, he tells you all the benefits of starting a corporation. And I learned a lot about, like through YouTube, I learned a lot about building business credit and stuff like that. So my intentions behind starting my corporation was to establish business credit, because I know that I could use those funds to do whatever I wanted, and I was going to figure it out as I went. But after I started my business, about a week later, I was talking to my brother on the phone, and he was like, oh, I have a friend that's starting an Amazon FBA business. Okay. And I was like, what's that?
What year is this, by the way?
This is 2018. So
2018.
So like a few months after I graduated in December of 2017.
Okay.
So I'm talking to my brother, and he's like, I have a friend that's starting an FBA business, and he just took a course, and then he gets me on the phone with his friend like a couple hours later, and I'm talking to his friend, and he was like, oh, you can have the course for free, just here's my login information.
Oh, that's love.
I get the login information. I finished the course in about a week or two while I'm working at that same job that I got after graduating college. So I'm working at that job, I'm growing my business, I'm working on finding a product, I'm listening to the information that they're instilling in me through that course, and then a couple weeks later, I get fired from that job.
Wait. So you graduated school, use your first paycheck to start an LLC. As you're starting the LLC, you don't know what you want to do with it. Your cousin hooks you up with the homeboy, hooks you up with the course on the FBA business. Yeah. And as you're learning about that and I'm assuming wanting to get started, you lose your job.
I lose my job.
Damn, that's a lot.
I already had the money saved up to start my business, to fund my business.
So it didn't hurt you. So no, it wasn't that big of a deal for you to lose your job.
So when things like that happen to me, like to the average person, it might be something like a setback.
Devastating.
I see it as a minor setback for a major comeback.
Gotcha.
So my girlfriend at the time, I told her that I lost my job, and I was laughing. And she's like,
she didn't get it.
I'm not even upset that you lost your job. I'm upset that you're not taking it serious. I'm like, you don't understand what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna show you what I'm capable of. So
you had that confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Before anybody else even saw it or knew it was gonna come to fruition.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm stubborn. So when someone tells me that I can't do something, it's like, all right, let me show you.
Yeah.
So I lost that job, and then I started treating my business like that job. So I wake up at 9 a.m. I clock in, basically not clocking into a job.
Yeah.
I'm clocking in for myself.
Correct.
Take a lunch break, then I go back to find a product. And then after a week, I found my first product. And then it was the garden hose nozzle.
We're gonna get to that too.
So I start off with the garden hose nozzle, and I got the first shipment. So it was coming from China. I sourced it through Alibaba, and I got the first product, and it was a good product. So I started selling that product, and I was making sales.
Gotcha.
And I started making about $1,000 a month through that one product. And
that's good.
It was going slow though, because it was hard for me to stay in that 9-to-5 mindset, like to keep on getting behind the computer and just trying to find more products. But I kept growing it through that I kept building my business through that product, but I would also do another strategy. So that strategy is called private label.
Okay.
I'm privately labeling a product, so I'm basically creating my own brand. So it's a hose nozzle, but I'm selling it, I'm branding it as my own.
Correct.
And I'm retailing it to the consumer.
Gotcha.
And then I would also do another strategy called retail arbitrage.
And what is that?
I go into Walmart, Target, CVS, and I would find a product that's discounted, or it may not even be discounted. It could be the regular price in Walmart.
Correct.
Or on Amazon, it's being sold for a higher price. And there's enough margin because Amazon takes a fee whenever you sell a product, and especially if you sell it FBA. FBA is fulfillment by Amazon, which means that Amazon is fulfilling the order for you. So you're shipping it to their warehouse, and then that's how you get the Amazon Prime, and they do the 2-day shipping.
Gotcha.
So I'll do that strategy as well. And I had some good products that I was doing retail arbitrage with that I could purchase consistently because I knew how to get them at a deep discount.
Now was it completely different from the garden hose that was your original?
Yeah. So the garden hose nozzle is a hose nozzle that I'm sourcing from China.
Gotcha.
And then the retail arbitrage, I'm all selling it through one account, but the retail arbitrage is like
you have the inventory.
Well, all of them I have the inventory.
Okay.
But I don't store them at my place.
Gotcha.
I store them at the Amazon warehouse.
Okay. So but the retail arbitrage, are you holding that inventory? Is that something Amazon's holding as well?
So all of it Amazon holds it.
Got it. Okay.
With retail arbitrage, I go into the store. So I'll go into Walmart, I'll go into Target, I'll go into CVS, Home Depot, wherever it is, and then I purchase the product and I ship it to Amazon. After I ship it to Amazon, they handle everything else.
Okay.
They handle
that's
the
nice.
returns, they handle the shipment, they handle the customer service.
Got it.
All of that.
Okay.
So one of the products was the Oral-B toothbrush that I'll get from BJ's.
All right.
So it comes in a pack of 2. I'll break the pack down and I'll sell them individually.
Okay.
And I'll make a decent profit on that product.
Yo, these are all right. So I think that's very interesting that you're doing like simple items that we all use in regular life. Like we're not talking nothing special.
Yeah.
And as we will get to, you're living off of this currently, correct?
Yeah, correct.
And as we said off screen, one of the things that you've realized prior to me even realizing is, and then we laughed about it, is making money is not really as hard as a lot of people think it is. And I advise people all the time on social media. People kind of ignore me. It doesn't bother me because I want to put it out there for the people who are listening that it's important that we'll allow ourselves to establish our own wealth. And I'll get to this now. You're one of the first people, I said this off screen, you're one of the first people I knew who were selling things on Amazon in the circle of people I knew, at least, at the time in college. I was graduate at the time too. you're one of the only people I knew who was selling something on Amazon, because now it's a lot more popular. We see about it on YouTube. We hear people talking about it. So you were ahead of the 8 ball on that, and it's cool now because like it's not something you're doing as a hobby anymore. It's something that's actually allowing you to. You just came back from Vegas, right?
Yeah.
For taking your mom there, because I said, "Why you going?" You said she wanted to go to Vegas. Like that's the low key flex I'm talking about. Like a lot of people can't say that. Yeah, my mom wanted to go to Vegas, so I took her. Like we all can't say that, and I think that's something that we should all strive for, to get to that place that we can do something like that. So back to your story. Tell me. So what did you do after the retail arbitrage? Like what was the next transition for you?
Remind me about the trip though, because I want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So where did I leave off?
You left off how you told me that you ship everything to Amazon, and they handle all the inventory, all the customer service in regards to the product, and you're doing Oral-B, you're breaking them.
So one of the products that I did as a retail arbitrage product was the Oral-B toothbrushes. I also sold hoverboards, scooters, electric scooters and stuff like that.
Oh, you're just going in.
Yeah, when I was starting off, I was doing on eBay as well. But right now, I just solely focus on Amazon, and I'm more hands-off.
Gotcha.
So when I was doing that, when I was doing the retail arbitrage, it was more so like a job, because I have to go to Walmart, I have to find different products.
You have to invest a little bit. Like,
well, regardless, my strategy with the FBA, you have to purchase the products, but I'm not using my money.
Correct.
So, like I told you in the beginning, I was focused on. I learned how to get business credit. So at this point,
leverage.
Yeah, I leverage those funds. I'm leveraging that capital, and that's also going to go into the trips as well. So I'm leveraging the capital, I'm leveraging the credit that the banks have extended me, and I'm getting a return, and I'm paying back that debt.
Got it.
So
this is what businesses do. Yeah. A lot of people don't really. This is what business do. Like, people wonder how businesses are able to do. You leverage. If you know you're able to create a profit, you can literally take out credit from. That's why I tell people credit is worth more than money, if you really think about it. But I'm gonna let you continue. Go ahead.
All right. I'll get you hyped.
Yeah, so, you are.
Listen. So, all right. So I was doing retail arbitrage, and then after a while, so it all like works out, and it's like what I'm doing now basically fell in my lap. So I said I was trying to establish business credit.
Correct.
So one of the what I was trying to do is try to establish business credit without a PG, without a personal guarantor. So that means that I'm not personally liable for that debt, and I found out that now that it's not really possible with credit cards. With business credit cards, it's not possible. But what I was doing was establishing net 30 accounts so that my business could get good credit, so that it could report to
Can you explain the net 30? I know what it is, but for people who listen may not know what it is. What is a net 30 account?
So a net 30 account means that you're paying off the net balance in 30 days. So if you purchase something, so if I go into Walmart and I have a net 30 account with Walmart, I'll purchase it, but I'm not giving them any money at the end at
the day of purchase.
The day of purchase. So I have 30 days to pay that off. So it's like a credit card, but with the credit card you can carry the balance. I have to satisfy that balance at the end of 30 days. But there's net 20 accounts, there's net 180 accounts, and companies like Walmart have a lot of net 180 accounts, and maybe even longer on certain products. The product that you're purchasing on the shelf, you're paying them to pay for it, and then they make a profit off of you, and then they pay their families. It's a game, and it's fun.
It really is. It really is.
So I got net 30 accounts, and one of my net 30 accounts was with Office Depot, which is a supplier that I'm using now to purchase my products that I'm purchasing wholesale. So I established that account, and I'm doing a private label. I'm doing retail arbitrage.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking to myself, I need to start doing wholesale. And I'm saying this to myself for about a month, and I'm looking for products, and it's hard to find suppliers that you can find products. Then my account manager for Office Depot calls me one day, and he's like, "Hey, Jovan, I found some products that you might find that might be beneficial for you, because I know there's another Amazon seller selling these products, and he's been buying a bunch of them."
Wholesale.
Yeah, he buying a bunch
Fell
of
in
them.
the lap.
He been buying a bunch of them. So he sends me this list. But he sent me a list before, and that list was trash. So he sent me this list, and I'm thinking this ain't gonna be.
You think it's trash too, but so long and behold,
I look at the first product, I see profit. I look at the second product, I see profit. He sent me like 20 products.
You don't even know.
And only like 2 or 3 of them is not good. So I ordered like 50 of each of them. and then I ship them in. Things gone. They're selling them things, moving. So I gotta start ordering more. I gotta keep my inventory in stock.
Yeah.
So now it's like, and at that time I kept doing the private label. I kept doing retail arbitrage a little bit.
Yeah.
But after a while, I started to stop doing that and focus more on this, because I know that the profit margin for wholesale is smaller, but the volume is a lot higher.
Gotcha.
I don't have to put any money into advertising. So with private label,
and that's a huge thing, because we talk about when starting off a business, advertising and marketing is usually where you have to flood a lot of money to just to get a business off the ground, because they typically say it takes about 5 years for a business to get up and running. Right. So the fact that you're able to cut that expense out, bro, that's a gem right there.
And the reason why I don't have to put money into marketing is because there's multiple people on my listing. So a lot of people don't know it, but a lot of people that sell on Amazon are third-party sellers like me.
Correct.
So Amazon, whenever you go to a listing and it says Amazon.com, it could say fulfilled by Amazon.com, but that doesn't mean that Amazon's selling that product. My product will say fulfilled by Amazon.com, but it'll say sold by Vaughn's Empire. That's the name of my company.
Okay.
And there's multiple people selling different items, and the products that I'm selling, there's not a lot of competition. So that's what you want. You don't want there to be a
competitive edge.
You don't want there to be a lot of competition, but you want there to be a lot of demand. Because it's a supply and demand game that we're playing.
Correct.
So I just continued to focus on that, and there was a point where I was like multiple streams of income. I started doing Uber a little bit. I started doing DoorDash and stuff like that, and I stopped doing that because the risk to reward ratio is not in my favor.
And you were trading your time for $1 as well.
I'm trading my time for $1, and the only reason why I was actually working at my job. So let me continue the story. So I got fired from that job, and then after a while, I just started focusing on my business. I ended up getting another job because I wasn't making that much. And then I quit that job. Like, I don't know what it is with me and jobs.
You meant to work for yourself. That's what it seems like.
It's not good.
I know, because you keep saying, well, I was in this job, and then I quit that job.
And then after that job, I got a job that I was at for like a year and some change. But that after I got that job was when I had already got the products that I was starting, So what I just told you about the guy telling me about these products happened after I got the job that I just lost. Okay. So I quit a job. So at the end of 2018, I quit a job. Then around February of 2019, I got another job. All right. And I was with that job up until June of this month. So when I was at that job, I was working with as a customer service representative for that company, that organization. When I was working as a customer service representative for that organization is when my account manager had told me about the products, and I started building my company, and I started seeing it grow, and I started to make more than I was making at my job. But I didn't quit because I wanted to leverage that income, that W-2 income, so I could purchase properties.
Let's stop right there really quick, because I think you're hitting on something really important that people need to understand. So, and you can tell me if you agree or not. I feel that two things. One, I feel like we all need to be a part of business if we're not owning a business. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it is important while you're being a part of business or running your own business that you have an active form of income until you're able to not need it at all. The reason why I say that is because I'm personally in that transition right now. I personally feel like when you have a 9-to-5 quote unquote or some form of active income, it allows you to take a little bit more risk, right? Because you have this money that you're actively working to fall back on in a sense. Would you agree with that? Like, would you say even though you were jumping from job to job, having that active income allowed you to take a little bit more risk, right? If you weren't as productive on a certain part, or like you said, you're still transitioning, trying to find that product and that niche, right, that was going to allow you to get good profit margins, so forth and so on, the active income helped. And I think a lot of us, I'm too good for a 9-to-5, but that 9-to-5 is very important starting off initially. A lot of people think, I'm just going to start my own business, F corporate America. And I agree with the F corporate America, but I think there's a timing aspect that can be very important, and it can help you in the long run. You know what I mean? So I'm not sure if you agree with that, but that's something I personally feel.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, but I had to learn for myself, because
Gotcha.
I was already told that. Like there's I think there's a statistic that says most successful entrepreneurs work at a job while they're growing their business. And I heard that, and I was like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to do this way because I know me. But
correct.
I had
Is that the stubbornness in you that you're talking about earlier? Yeah, you got a little humble pie.
Sometimes you gotta.
But it's not forever though. That's the thing. You had to. I'm sure you realize that, like working that job, it's not forever. It's just like momentarily while you just get the stuff together and make some mistakes, and get some lessons, not losses, out of those mistakes.
Yeah, correct.
You know what I mean? It's just very short term, and I think a lot of us are scared of that. Or we think it's demeaning to have a 9-to-5 temporarily.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm not sure why that's the case, but I know some people feel like that.
So it's a stigma. It's something that's being marketed to our generation, that working at a job isn't good. You need to start your own business, and I don't think that everyone will be a successful business owner, but everyone can invest their money.
Yes, and be a part of business. Exactly.
Everyone can accumulate wealth. Everyone can educate themselves and learn how to be astute investor or business person. Someone can learn to become a business owner.
Correct.
But not everyone is just set out for that, and they may not have the willpower or the determination to keep it going, like whenever they face those obstacles. So it's hard. It will be harder for some and easier for others, but it's possible.
I got a question for you. So you said something earlier that we're talking about in terms of having your financial house in order. Can you touch on that a little bit? Because I asked you, I was like, what were one of the things that you really learned? Or I said, if you could tell yourself something prior to COVID, what would it be? And you said having your financial house in order. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I realized that COVID has made me realize that most people do not have their financial house in order because this pandemic hit, and the government immediately had to start giving out money, and they're giving people unemployment checks. And even though they have those unemployment checks, majority of the people that are getting those unemployment checks aren't trying to create something for themselves, or they still have that consumer mindset, and they're not being intentional with those funds so that they could create something for the future. They're putting themselves in that same hole. Like there's a statistic that says like the average person has less than $1,000 in their savings account.
Yes,
and that's crazy.
Yeah,
like, what can you do with $1,000? How many months are you gonna survive with $1,000?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, but that's the thing though. Let's keep it real, because we're in North Lyon, we're in Broward County.
$1,000 ain't doing nothing for
half a month. What I'm saying, but that's a lot of people though. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of people in our community who are like that, and in their mind, they don't realize they're maybe stuck in a consumer mindset. They don't realize, they think money is the asset, when really money is used to buy assets, right? Because if they thought of it in that way, they would see that dollar as leverage. Just how when you were self-educating yourself and becoming astute in the way you are, you saw that you didn't have to use your money to buy these products. There was a way to leverage and get there. So tell me, how can, because we both are very self-educated, I think we both would agree we got more out of self-educating ourselves than the formal education we've got. We laughed about this. I'm getting my master's right now, and I told you I learned more. You said what you get? I was like, I've learned more from the books I've read in the last 6 months than my whole master's degree. I'm gonna keep it real. Exactly. But I am happy to say I'm getting my master's, I'm finishing. But I tell people, like, I made more money off of like the books I bought off Amazon than the $1,000 education I'm getting. You know what I mean? And people can laugh at me for that. I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? So what do you personally feel like people can do to get to a place to where they are not relying on formal education to live, but like we said in the quote, get the self-education to build wealth? So what does that look like, and what can we do?
So for our generation, it's a lot easier. So that you read books, there's YouTube, there's podcasts just like this. You have a platform where you're putting out information so that the consumer can get educated. So consumption is not always negative. What you are what you eat, and you are what you consume. So the information that you're feeding your mind, because a lot of people, I noticed that my mom, she watches a lot of news. She watches a lot of, she's on Facebook and watching a lot of things that are entertaining. They want to be entertained, but they don't want edification.
Ooh, say that again, bro. Say that again. They want to be entertained, but they don't want what?
Edification. So to edify is to uplift or to increase your intelligence. But when you're being entertained, it's just like, oh, I want to laugh, I want to be happy type of thing. But if you seek information that is edifying, you're going to, and you apply that information, you're going to see a difference.
Gotcha.
Like
you're going to be fruitful.
Yeah. You're going to reap what you sow.
Correct.
Facts. And I see that in my life. Like, and it's subconscious. Because I read a lot of books and
it's become subconscious. So how do you get to that point? So let's say I'm someone watching this right now, and they may have just graduated from college, right? They may have wanted to start an LLC, and they may not know what they want to be a part of business in, right? Because I'm speaking to the OD, right? What is that? How does it become automatic? Like what things did you do? Like what habits did you obtain, or what things did you start doing your daily habits that got you there? Was it just blatantly reading books? Was it a particular book? Was it a particular person? Did you want to motivate you? Like, what did that look like, that process of getting here?
So discipline is important. I think I obtained my discipline through playing football, because I played football from age 8 to 18.
Got you.
And that discipline that was instilled in me through football, like going to practice on time and being consistently doing the same thing, going through a certain routine every day. And it doesn't have to be a big difference. Like, I read books, I slowed down on reading books because I realized that I need to take more action, because you could get an analysis paralysis phase, and you're not really seeing any benefits from what you're reading. You have to apply the knowledge. That's why I said, the people say knowledge is power, but I think not applied knowledge is power.
Correct.
So I slowed down on my reading, but I'll read a chapter a day. So if I'm reading a book, I just read a chapter a day, and I could read that book in like 2 weeks. So I read like 75 books one year, but I was in college around that time. I wasn't making as much money when I was reading those 75 books.
Correct.
But now I'm making more money. I'm reading less books, but I'm still growing. I'm still educating myself.
In smaller doses.
In smaller doses. It's still it's proportionate. It's a smaller proportion, but I'm still growing. I'm not only learning through the book, I'm also learning through my experiences.
Which is just as important. Because like you said, if not, you can get that analysis paralysis if you're not putting to play the stuff that you're learning.
And a lot of people want like motivation. They want to be motivated by something, but your why should motivate you. The reason why I want to be successful, I want to grow a business, I want to create generational wealth, is because I want to provide for the hands that fed me. And that's one of the reasons why I took my mom to Vegas. Because I don't know what the coronavirus, there's people that are dying from coronavirus. What if that happens to my mom?
Yeah.
If my mom passes away and that's my last memory of her, I'm gonna be upset that she died, but that's a great memory for her to leave this earth with. She said it was the best trip that she's ever been on her life.
And talk about that, because we kind of touched on it off screen, because I come from a 2-parent household, but you didn't have that experience. So because I'm sure a lot of people initially may have heard you talking and think, oh, this guy grew up, and he had access to books, and it's quite the contrary. And people don't realize we're not anything extraordinary, but we built ourselves to do extraordinary things, right? So talk about that a little bit, about how your background really shaped you to be where you are now. Has motivation for you. That's your why, like you just said.
Yeah. So I grew up. So my mom has two kids, and my dad has like 8 or 9.
So you got a lot of siblings.
Yeah. So on my mom's side, I'm the youngest. Between my mom and my dad, I'm the only child.
Gotcha.
And on my dad's side, I'm like somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
He has one girl, and the rest are boys. And growing up, my mom raised me and my brother, but my dad did contribute.
Gotcha.
And the thing that helped me a lot is that my mom never spoke negatively about my dad. She always said that he was a good man, and for a short period of time, I was given a lot of trouble up here. I had got arrested in school. Well, I didn't get arrested, but I got put in handcuffs because I was fighting.
Gotcha.
And this was in the 5th grade.
What school?
Horizon Elementary.
Oh, you went Horizon. Okay, I went to North Lyle. That's why I was curious. I was like, was he at North Lyle? Well, no, I got you.
So I got put in handcuffs. So my mom sent me to Jamaica. She says like she kept threatening me like, I'm gonna send you to Jamaica to live.
You thought she was playing?
Yeah, she
sent your ass off to Jamaica. You go.
Shit my ass like I was a care package.
All right, so what happened once you got in Jamaica?
So that was a life-changing experience too, because it's humbling. Like you see that a lot of people don't have what you have, and my dad is more aggressive because he's like me, and it's crazy because I didn't grow up with him being there, but I am him. Like I can tell.
That's, isn't that weird, right? How he wasn't.
That's so crazy how genetics work.
Yeah.
But living with him, like it made me realize that so many people don't have what I have in the world, the opportunity, the choices that I have in America.
Correct.
Like that, there's like they say hoods in America, but there's real poverty out here. There's people that are really struggling, and it's like it's not a joke like it is in America. Like these people choose to be, they choose to be in our situation in America. Yeah. They have way more choices than people in other countries. It's much more difficult.
And we take it for granted.
Their dollar is weaker.
Yeah.
You know how hard it $1 US is 140 Jamaican dollars. 148 Jamaican dollars. God, so for them to make $1 US, they have to work 148 times harder. Someone can get a paycheck, you get paid $10, you could pay someone $3 US, which is 400 and something Jamaican dollars, and you could get them to work for you.
Yeah. Seriously.
But people aren't thinking like that. And I've also learned that from one of the books that I read is that most people, like 80% of America, it's a high number, don't have passports. So people don't travel outside of the country. Yeah. And that's crazy. Because
so that exposure, it doesn't allow you to experience certain things.
Exactly. And like, if you're just driving from work and home, you don't, your perspective of life is so confined. So you can't relate. Powerful. You can't relate with certain people, and it's hard for you to see from somebody else's perspective, and especially like for white people that we think are racist and stuff like that. A humanistic trait is self-preservation. So they're gonna want to preserve their kind, and I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but it's a fact.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So the same thing with black people. We want to preserve our kind, but we're dealt the short end of the stick in this situation. Yeah. If it was the other way around, are we going to feel sorry for them? Are we going to...
Self-preservation.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's going to kick in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went off talking.
No, you're good. You're good, bro. You're good. I'm here with you. I'm listening.
But with growing up, I had humble beginnings, and I learned a lot through football. But living with my father, something that I learned from him is that regardless of what my other siblings do, what anyone else does, I have to take care of my mom. When I was living with my dad in Jamaica, I was going to school down there, and my grandmother lived in the house with my dad, and he had a helper, which is what we would call a maid or something like that. That was taking care of her, but she was there. He was watching over her, and I didn't really see his brothers and sisters really coming to take care of her the way that he
took responsibility for it.
And that just he didn't have to tell me, but through osmosis, I realized that that's important. I have to take care of my mother. Yeah. Like this is the lady that brought me into this world, and she's been taking care of me, and she's been dealing with my shit for years.
You owe her the world.
I owe her the world. Yeah. And that is the only thing that I feel like my dad needs to teach me. He doesn't need to teach me anything else. So you appreciate him for that. I do appreciate him, and there was a point in time where I felt I kind of resented him just because of the fact that he wasn't there and I didn't have that father figure in the household. But I had to forgive him in order to live.
Got it.
In order to get to a point where I could get past that and I could grow and I could be the man that he wasn't, or it's not even that he wasn't that man, the man that he couldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like grateful for my situation. Like it's like they grew up in Jamaica. Like it's a whole different environment. It's a whole different socioeconomic status going on down there. They do things. They operate a whole different way, and they put me in. They brought me to America. I was born in America. That in and of itself gives me the baton on a rubber track where they had to run on rocks.
Got you. Yeah.
You feel me?
And on top of that, right, you got the chance to go to college, right? You got the chance to get experiences, to learn how to self-educate yourself, and it allowed you to build yourself into the man you are now, to where, you know what, hey mom, let's go, we going to Vegas. So how was the trip in Vegas though? Right. Some happen. Wait, how did you pay for it? Because I'm assuming because you talked about it a little bit. Give me that, and then tell me how actually Vegas was.
That's the right question to ask. That's the right question to ask. So I paid for the trip with points.
With points?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I told you guys about business credit.
Yeah.
And I strategically look for business credit cards that I know will accrue, that have like a good reward point or good reward system. Okay. So every transaction that I make to purchase my inventory, I put it on a credit card, and I'm accumulating points through those transactions. As I'm accumulating those points, I could purchase trips with those points, or I could redeem those points for cash back.
Correct. And a lot of our credit cards do this, fun fact. But there's certain credit cards, like you said, that have specific things that they allow you to do. Okay.
Yeah. But some point systems are more beneficial than others, depending on what you want to do. So I paid for the hotel with points. I paid for the flight with points, but I had to pay a small fee. So with certain, depending on how you book the trip, like if I would have booked the flight through a certain airline, if I would have just to go through my credit card portal, I could use all points. Gotcha. But I transferred my points. It's a lot. It's called travel hacking. If you want to learn more about it, just Google travel hack, just YouTube travel hacking, and just go down that rabbit hole.
Got you.
Go down that rabbit hole, you're gonna
get some gems.
I'm gonna see you on trips too.
All right, I'm gonna do it. You about to give me some gems.
I'm gonna see you on trips too. But
travel hacking, y'all.
Travel hacking.
Look that up.
So I could book the flight, I could book the car, I could book the hotel, all with points.
All right.
But with the hotel, since I was staying at a resort, and it was nice, that resort was amazing.
Well worth it.
It was well worth it. So well worth it.
And moms liked it too. That's all that matters.
What Hertz, I didn't use points because I have a friend and family discount through Hertz.
Okay, cool.
So I just helped them out because they're going through a bankruptcy. So.
Yeah, they are. Fun fact. Yeah, I've been following that.
Yeah, so but it was pretty cheap because I got the friend and family discount. But with the flight, I only had to pay a fee of $22. For the hotel, I had to pay a resort fee of $153. And this is a hotel that if I would have booked those,
and we're in Vegas, by the way, so we know those are not Vegas prices.
It would have been $1,000 for that hotel that I stayed in.
Okay.
Yeah. And all I had to pay was the resort fee.
Yeah, that's it.
And the trip to Europe, that was all booked with points. It was a $700 flight.
Travel hacking. I know what I'm doing after this podcast episode. Travel hacking, baby. We going to Europe. I'm dead ass.
Travel hacking, and I've been I have over 500,000 points.
Nice. So, but you got all that from being wise enough to use leverage, right, for what you do for your business to get there, which is genius.
Exactly. And it's just like being strategic, be intentional with your decision. Like when I'm making my transaction, I try to think to myself, which card's gonna give me the most points. Yeah, it's like I'm playing a video game in real life. Yeah. I'm trying to accumulate the most.
Because you understand the game of life now. Exactly. Because you understand how money works. You understand the difference between value and money, because those are both not the same thing. You know what I mean? So I think that's super powerful, and I challenge the people listening to take the time to do that, to really learn about money, value, because everything we want is out there for us. It really is, and you're living proof of it, right? You're able to have a business that sustains the life that you want to live. Not only that, the age of mom and having the experience of life that she maybe wanted a little bit earlier. But you know what? She got a great son who can give it to her now.
Facts.
You mean that's dope, bro.
And something that I said to her is that I gave her the most problems growing up, so I have to give her more. Like,
gotcha.
she just don't
give her the most happiness and peace too.
Don't look at my brother and say, "Oh, he's not doing enough. He's not doing this."
Mm-hmm.
I gave you more problems, and my brother is one of the reasons why I'm able to give her more. My
gotcha.
brother would always tell me growing up, school is only going to teach you what they want you to know. And he was basically one of my father figures because
gotcha.
we didn't have a man in the household,
mm-hmm.
so he had to be that man. Like, there was time, he's a lover, not a fighter, and
gotcha.
he's more so like my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime, like, I would be on the block and I would be like causing problems or something like that, and it would be like an older person, he would go ahead and fight them for me, even though he's not that type of person.
Yeah,
he had to protect me.
Gotcha.
He would hesitate when it came to that. He didn't play about me, and I have to provide for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be the person that breaks the chain.
Got you.
And something that about what you just said, price is what you pay, value is what you get. And if you're not providing value, you're gonna have to pay the price. Yeah.
Gems. Gems. We are dropping gems today. So I have two questions for you, that because these are two big things I do in my life personally, and I want you to get your perspective on it. How has the then to now affected your ability to have friends, and how has it affected your love life?
Okay. So
your success and your pursuit of it.
So the relationship that I was previously in, it ended, but it kind of had to do with my success, but it didn't as well.
Okay.
So I was kind of holding on to something that my partner had an issue with holding on to, issue with investing her full time in.
Okay.
And it's because her parents didn't like me. There were several issues that we had. It wasn't like we would have worked if she had the support. She needed support. I don't need support. If I want something, I'm gonna go after it.
You're gonna get it.
But that's not the type of person she was.
Okay.
So, and when I started to,
so just a different mentality.
Yeah,
a little
it's a different mentality.
Okay.
That was the best relationship I've ever been in my life.
Gotcha.
And she's still my friend. I still talk to her today, and I don't have any animosity against her. If she needed anything from me, I would give it to her.
Has that changed, like, what you look for though in the woman now?
Yeah, she's definitely higher my standards. The next girl that I'm with is going to have to be like something.
Gotcha.
Serious. Yeah. And I'm not really looking for a girlfriend or a wife. I'm looking for a partner.
Gotcha.
I want someone to build with, because I'm not. It's not.
And you're not in a rush, I'm assuming.
Exactly. Right now, I'm young. I'm not.
How old are you, by the way?
25.
Yeah, you're younger than me, bro. We're young as hell. We got the world ahead of us, bro, and we're already ahead of most people our age, anyway.
What's crazy is that people our age is thinking that they got to get everything together. The fact I don't have everything together.
Yeah.
I might be doing good, or I'm doing well for myself, but there's still a lot that I have to learn.
Correct.
And where I'm gonna be 10 years from now, and where I am now, is
a
dramatic difference.
I feel the same exact way. I feel the exact same way.
But we can fail another 25 years and then be successful. The people who are billionaires and millionaires now,
they don't get it to their like 50, 60,
exactly.
bro. Like, unless you're Elon Musk, but black people know Elon Musk got fired as the CEO of PayPal. Like, bro, he's had so many failures, but they weren't failures. They were just lessons. They weren't losses. They were just lessons. Like, some of the most successful people have failed so much, but they turned those failures into lessons, which is why they are who they are. And some of us are either have analysis paralysis. We don't even get the chance to fail, right? We just consuming info. And other part is, a lot of us are just missing out because we're too scared. You know what I mean? Not even that we be consumed in some of us, but we're just too scared to take risks because we're scared of failure. But I tell people, and I have a tattoo on my arm, failure does not exist. Failure is not real. It really isn't.
It's fact.
Failure is not real. It's an illusion. Because if you turn that that L into a lesson. Because think about this. How many times did you say you lost a job? Right? Or you quit a job? Some people, when they hear that, they will think, oh man, he lost out. He lost money.
They lost out.
Yeah, exactly. But for you, it wasn't, oh, I lost the job. Because you said for the average person, right, they may think, oh man, but you were laughing. Right? And your girl probably thought you were a little crazy for it, but it wasn't that you were laughing because, oh, I didn't care. It's laughing because you knew what your value was, your intrinsic value. And you knew that no matter what, you had that. So no matter what deal, you're going to come out on top. And more than that, like you took things in your own hands and you allowed yourself to have something that can always create a source of income for you. And that's why I try to tell people all the time, if you don't want to run a business, right, there's still ways to have things available to create sources of income so that we're not, looking at Uncle Tom to hand us all our money and feed us our wealth that we're never going to get through Uncle Tom. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, like with those jobs, they can see my intrinsic value as well. And I know that because of what people have said to me. The two jobs that I got fired from, the first one that I got fired from, the guy was saying that I'm a mover and a shaker, and he knows that he's gonna see me on the front cover of a magazine one day. Yeah. And then the second job, the lady was like, and this is a lady that I felt didn't like me, and she was like, I'm an influencer, and people listen to me, and I can make a difference. But that's the thing is, I know where I want to go, and when you're working for a company, they want you to conform to their ideology, and I'm not going to conform to them, because I know that if I conform to them, then I'm limiting myself. Yes, I know and I believe that I am going to be in a much better position than any of them are at that job or in long term. Their mindset is that what they're doing is the right thing to do, and it's working for them based on their beliefs. Like when I was traveling while I was working too, and I was showing people like videos and stuff like that, and I was showing this one lady, and she was like, I didn't even know that buildings were that nice in Europe. I was like, what? She's never been to Europe. She never been to Europe, but like the thoughts that people have is crazy, because like some people are so small-minded, and when you're starting out and you're trying to do something, you're gonna tell people stuff, and they're gonna be like, you can't do it, or they're because they can't do it. They're gonna tell you 1,000 ways why you can't do it, and that's because small minds cannot comprehend big thoughts.
Facts, they really can.
Exactly, and it's an entire journey. Like when it starts off, you're not where you want to be, but you can get there if you're persistent.
Correct. You really can. How has it affected your circle of friends? Like, do you still hang out with the same people? Do you find it that like you now have to maybe hang out with different people because you've accumulated so much knowledge that you feel like it's hard maybe for some of your friends to understand? Or are you like me, like, no, we all coming up, my nigga, like we all.
So for me, I stepped back. When I started educating myself like that, I wasn't really around friends like that. But it's not like I pushed them away, like I don't like you anymore, I'm not talking to you, none of that. It's just that I like took time for myself. I need to focus on myself. Gotcha. I there's places that I want to go that I need to get to.
You didn't want to give from an empty cup. Yeah. You want to make sure your cup is full.
Correct. That's a perfect example. Gotcha. And I stepped back, and the reason why I stepped back is because I'll tell them things. Oh, I'm about to do this, and they didn't see the vision. They were being negative. They're telling me, oh, you can't do this. It's not going to work.
But they were probably saying that only because of their own fear that they couldn't probably.
Exactly, they were. So I stepped back, and it's like, all right, the words aren't affecting you. So now let me show you, because I know that the visual will. Yeah. Because if I'm doing, because actions speak louder than words.
Correct. And money talks.
I can show you better than I can tell you. Yeah. Exactly. So now I stepped back, and I was telling these people about it, and they didn't want to listen. But now that I'm doing it, it's like, what's Amazon FBA? How can I do Amazon FBA? Everyone wants to do Amazon FBA in the middle of a pandemic. they want to start their business in the middle of a pandemic, and that's the best time to start. But you weren't prepared. You didn't prepare for this one. You saw that the weather was. You didn't even look at the Weather Channel before you stepped outside.
Yeah. And not you outside. Now you being reactive, not proactive.
Exactly.
And a lot. I mean, how many of us have done that? And I think that's a big part, right? Like a lot of us. But two things. Now is the best time to build. Some of the most richest people, wealthiest people have created their wealth in times like this. Mm-hmm. This is literally, and I've seen it. People are, even if it is the wrong time and they didn't prepare, I'm just happy that people are kind of being aware of that. You know what? I need something. Mm-hmm. Whatever that something may look like, that's for people to find out. But the fact that people are just now aware that they need something, I'm so happy because I think the culture, our community needs it, and we need to see more like us. Mm-hmm. Like you're probably one of a handful of people I know from Broward County who are actually doing something with, so who had the opportunity to go to college and eating, low-key flexing on the gram, traveling everywhere, you know what I mean? And it's beautiful to see, man. I've been following you for a long time. Like when you said that that your boss of yours said that you're an influencer, bro. Like I told you, I remember what your first Amazon product was. I remember, I'm going to tell you some more stories. I remember, maybe it was the podcast I did for you back in college. You're talking about how you learned a real important lesson. Apparently there was like some football camp and you paid for it. And all your other homeboys, you found that they didn't. And you asked the coach what happened. He said, closed mouths don't get fed.
Oh, yeah. It's not, I didn't go to the camp.
You didn't? Because you needed a ride.
Yeah.
And you didn't ask him for a ride.
Yeah. No. I didn't think that I'll have enough money to go to the camp.
Okay. That's what it was.
And then I asked him about it because all of them went and then they got it for free. Mm-hmm. And I asked him about it and he was like, closed mouths don't get fed.
And I remember you saying that, man. I remember you were one of the first people that made me realize the difference that money was actually fiat currency. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and that there's, bro, you are very influential. I'll just say that because I've been following you from afar, and I tell people this all the time. You never know who's waiting to be inspired by you, and you never know who's admiring you from afar. And I'm one of those people. I can say, man, I've been watching you from afar. I love what you do. I was happy to see you message me today to come on the podcast. I'm assuming it resonated with you because I think us as like-minded people, and we're very more alike than we probably think we are. You know what I mean? It's important that we show love to each other and that we support each other. But man, I want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. And you know, it's beautiful, and we need to do more of it. And I don't think we have enough people like yourself who are saying it. And I would challenge you, man. Tell people more and try to inspire people more because you are very influential. When you get on and you say things like, I remember you used to do a word of the day and just challenge people to learn a new word. You know what I mean? I see, and even now, like you're always posting yourself working out. Like, man, that you don't know who you're inspiring. I'm saying all this stuff, right? You don't know I probably see all this stuff, but how many more Davids out there are watching you, waiting to be inspired by you? So I would just challenge you, man, to let people to see you more. And really be as influential as you may not even know you can be.
I really appreciate the fact that you articulated it in that way because something that kind of like hinders my ability to be consistent with it is like I feel like people aren't watching. Yeah. Because when you look on Instagram, you can see how many people view it, and you can see how many people click through. Like it tells you the number, but I can't see who exactly it is. And I feel like some people aren't really paying attention, but I do have engagement, and people are engaged, and people are being affected by the things that I post, and I do have to be more consistent. And
it's just one, man. Just one is enough. Like I know we may have 2,000 followers, but just one is enough. One is enough because we don't know how they're consuming that info outside of the like or the view that we physically see on our phone. We don't know what they're doing, you know, outside of the phone that may be inspired by you. So you know, you never know, bro. You really never know. That's why it's important.
And something I want to say to you is don't be afraid to reach out to people because you're starting something and you have to invest your time in it. You have to, even though you may think that somebody may not want to come on here, it doesn't matter. It's an opportunity for you and for me because I'm providing value for the audience. You're also providing value for the audience.
Correct.
But we're combining. We're it's basically like a mastermind. You have two individuals in a room that are delivering valuable information that the consumer can consume, and they can do whatever they want with it.
Yeah,
it's a platform and an opportunity for you to grow. There's people. Last time I did the same thing with Kev. He started something, and I see you doing something. I want you to keep doing it. I want you to be successful at what you're doing. So that's why I reached out to you. And something that came to mind is like, why didn't he reach out to me yet? But I was like, I can take the initiative. I can do it. I can set this up. It doesn't matter who does it first, and that's something that those thoughts, the fear that we have is false evidence appearing real, and it can prevent certain things from manifesting in real life. But
the thing is, and I think I may be a victim maybe of the social media thing, like you. Like, I see people. I've been posting about this first episode for a while. I don't know who's really viewing it, and you know what I mean. So I guess we both kind of have that instance where I'm telling you to be out there more, but I'm not aware sometimes either of how people may see me or view what I do. You know what I mean? Because I often tell people I live in a bubble. I really do. Like, I'm in my books, I'm with my family, and that's it. And I put out content on social media to inspire people, but I never know who's number one, either be inspired or who's just listening. But it's beautiful to know that, and you're telling me maybe, because I do have people who I want to come on and be guests on this, because everyone has a podcast too, so I feel like people like are laughing like, oh, here's another podcast by somebody, you know what I mean? But regardless, like, I know my intrinsic value, which is why I'm doing it, because I know that I have something to give, and I know I'm not a bullshitter. I know there's a lot of podcasts out there, people, they're not serious, they don't care, they're doing it for wherever. I'm doing this because I care, you know what I mean? I'm doing it because I'm trying to live a legacy, you know what I mean? And this is just the start of it. And you agree, I do need to, I have a list of people, and I'm probably going to reach out to those people tomorrow and really just be like, hey, I would love to have you on, so forth and so on, because there may be an opportunity for them to get something out that may inspire somebody, and who knows where that goes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And it's just like that doubt. Like, there's so many things that, like, when I was in that relationship with my ex, there's certain things that I was trying to tell her to do, trying to put it on her. Like, I was doing what I was doing, but I wanted her to be able to stand on her own as well. That's something I always tell her, is that I'm probably going to leave this world first, so because I was looking at having a future with her, because statistically men usually die before women do.
Gotcha.
So I want her to be in a position to live, to carry on my legacy after I pass. So with that, I want to uplift her. I don't want to, you have to be dependent on me, you have to sit in the house. I want her to educate herself as well. But she was,
you want to empower her,
uplift her. Exactly. But she believed in the system. She wanted to go through that system. I didn't want to change her. I didn't want to. I felt like it's the better path. But if she doesn't believe in it, then it was just better for us to part ways.
That's hard to do, man. Especially when you care and you love somebody, it's hard. And I have a therapist. So my therapist told me this after I got my last relationship. She said that sometimes being passionate about something, well, what did she say? She said that sometimes when you're so passionate about something, like, you're gonna hurt a little bit. You know what I mean? Sometimes passion means sacrifice. And you know, you're so passionate about what you wanted for yourself and your future that you loved her enough to let her go, and that often is a hard thing. Or just let the relationship resort to being friends. You know what I mean? Because that's a beautiful thing too, when you can love somebody outside of romanticism, which is a whole nother topic. But that's beautiful, that because you said you guys are still friends, you guys talk today, so that's beautiful that you had enough love for her to still be in her life, even though if it's not a romantic way.
And the thing is that's not something that I saw growing up. It's not something that I saw in Broward.
Yeah, it's against the norm. Yeah, we don't see that. You get an ex, we out, she a Sean, right? Nobody say Sean no more. That's a Broward County thing, by the way. But right, that's how we used to talk. Like, you know what I mean? So that is atypical. That's very atypical.
So I couldn't wrap my head around it, like, at first.
Yeah.
But like her mom would say, I think you guys should break up, but you guys can still be friends. And like it's like, we wanted to be together, so why are we gonna break up just because
you guys didn't see the value of friends? That's why
you didn't see the value. We didn't see the value in it, but it like got to a point where my success was hindering her ability to pursue her path. Like she didn't feel like she could support me. She didn't feel like I don't know what was going on through her head. Yeah. But she just felt like less than being around me, and I don't want to have that impact on somebody. And letting her go, I see her like doing like the stuff that I was trying to teach her while I was with her. She was starting to learn it with me letting her go. Nice. So either way, it's a win-win situation.
And it's a beautiful thing because you probably inspired her, man. You probably inspired her, and now she's able to do it, and she's being that self-sufficient, empowered woman that you knew she could be. And you know, maybe she just had to have the courage to do it. And that's dope. That's dope.
And it has a lot to do with timing. Maybe I was giving her that information at the wrong time.
Yeah, timing is everything.
I experienced this because my mom lost her house, and I was going through a time period where I guess maybe, I don't know if it was depression. I don't know what that is. People say they're depressed and stuff like that. Yeah. But I don't know if that's what it was. I know that I was going through a time where things weren't going my way and I thought the world was against me. But I felt like I could get out of that. Yeah. I knew that I could get out of it. So I took it upon myself to educate myself, and the information that I was teaching her was information that I was learning through a book. And it's hard to make sense out of nonsense, because when I learn something, I educate myself on something, it seems like it's common knowledge, like it's common sense.
But it's really controlled chaos in your mind.
No, like I'm saying, like you learn something in a book, and then someone's doing the opposite of what you learned, because what you learn now seems like the correct way to do things.
Correct.
But now what they're doing, it looks like nonsense.
Yes.
And it's hard for you, now that you've learned, to humble yourself and just teach them. Sometimes I'm like,
you're impatient.
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're impatient. You feel me? Yeah, that's true. Because that is true. When you start reading, man, you learn stuff. I mean, it can just be about like spending. Yeah. And you see people spending, and you're just like, huh?
Yeah.
Right? And you realize the statistic that a certain amount of people don't even have $1,000 saved, right? And you've seen people do this with their money. It's just like, huh? You kind of start to judge, and I learned that too.
But that's not your intention. But that's how they perceive it.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not you care enough to say something.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Most people don't. That's the
truth. And when you do say something, they take it hard because it's so against what the norm that they have in their mind. Because you've been brought up to a level of awareness that they're just may not be on, right? And and for me, I had a similar situation with my ex. Maybe that was the same similar situation with you. As I was educating myself, it was hard to have certain conversations,
correct,
and things of that sort. So it's interesting how.
And sometimes they feel like you're lecturing them.
Yeah, and you're really just trying to drop gems.
You're really passionate about, like, when you get upset.
And that can be intimidating too.
Facts.
Could be for some women, not all. That can be a little intimidating to have a man who's so passionate and they just can't really understand. You know what I mean? And now it starts to become this little separation that creates issues because now other stuff gets in between. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you 100%.
And it's just like. You just learn through life.
Yeah,
like that's what I'm saying. Like, people think that I'm perfect. Like, they see me traveling, they see me doing this. I got a business and I'm doing good right now, but I still have flaws. I'm a human.
Yeah,
we all do. I'm not perfect. Like, certain ways that I talk to people, I'm still aggressive. Like, I need to meditate. I probably need a therapist too. Like for real, I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably need a therapist too. I probably need a therapist more than you.
Yeah, I get you. No, but we all have our issues, man. But the fact that we are aware helps. The fact that we are aware, and as long as we come from a place of love, I think we will always get to a place to where we want to shift our behaviors that it matches the love we want to give out. You know what I mean? So I think that's really important. And I get that because remember, on social media, people only see what you put out there. Correct. So if you're only putting out the good stuff, they just assume perfection.
Correct.
They don't know what's going on in the backdrop of things. And I tell people all the time when I'm on live, I'm like, listen, especially because I have a thing called King Talk Tuesday, where I talk to people on my story. I'm not on my story, on my Instagram, about like love and relationship. Yeah. And I'm always telling, like, listen, like, I know I'm giving you all this advice about love and stuff, but I'm single. I'm flawed. I made mistakes in my relationship. So just keep that in mind. You know what I mean? That like I tell people I'm just like you. I promise you, I'm dealing with the same issues. I'm dealing with all the things you want. I probably want. All the things you don't want, I probably don't want. Like we're all so much more alike than we really are. But like the key is that like we have to uplift each other, and we can't judge each other, and we gotta also make sure we're looking out for each other, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. You know.
Sometimes your message can be misinterpreted, and that's difficult. But you just have to be consistent and persistent with your message. You don't deter from your message, because someone may not get it the first time around. Just like when I was starting out with my business, I was trying to explain something to someone and they didn't believe in it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna show you now. You take a different approach, but it's the same message. You teach someone the same thing a different way, because something that I learned about myself, like Robert Kiyosaki always says, repetition is how you learn. And I noticed that when I was reading different books, there were similarities in the content that they were delivering.
Between all these wealthy people,
there's similarities in the content, but me hearing that message a different way, it might resonate with me more from that different way. It's just like when you're telling someone something, or like your parent would say, oh, he's not going to listen to me, he's going to listen to his friends. Your mom would tell you the same thing, or your dad would tell you the same thing, but when your friend says it, it hits you harder.
It does, because your ears are just open up to certain environments as opposed to other environments. And often social media is like that, right? Like I'm sure I may be saying stuff that's gems, but let's say LeBron says it. Oh, LeBron said I gotta look into travel hacking. I gotta do travel, right? That's just how it works. But I mean, it is what it is, and hopefully, like, we get to a point to where people care enough about what we say. Like that's my goal. I want to get to a point to where like people like they hear me say something and they're like, you know what, man, I know David's coming from a place of love. And I know he's a person of integrity. That's something I want to look into. You know what I mean? Because I tell people, I tell myself this all the time. My goal in life, I already know what my goal in life is to be impactful by any means necessary. I want to be impactful. I want to serve people. I want to serve the world, because that's what it's all about. And I'm paying it forward now. I don't want to wait till I'm filthy rich and all this other stuff to then try to give back. No, I'm doing it now. You know what I mean? I have my nonprofit. I told you about. Do you know my nonprofit? I donate book bags, 500 book bags, and school supplies to Silver Lakes Middle.
I've seen that on
you know what I mean? Like that right there is like probably the highlight of my life thus far. To be able to say, yeah, you know what? I went back to the neighborhood, the school I grew up with, a Title I school, and I give out book bags and school supplies to the same damn kids that look like me when I was going there.
What does Title I mean for the people that are listening?
Title I schools are schools that are not receiving a lot, or they receive all their funding usually from the government, and they are under-resourced. They usually sit schools in under-resourced communities where they do not have the opportunity like other kids, for example, the school I work at, which is a private school, to have opportunities to get resources such as books, high quality teachers that are paid enough to want to give the energy that it takes for these kids to learn. You know what I mean? So it's important that I had the opportunity to do that, because now someone's gonna see me, right? I got tattoos on my arm, right? But they're gonna see this guy and they may ask who I am, and I tell them, and they're like, "Damn, you went to the same school? Like you have some of the teachers that taught me are still at the school, bro." That's crazy.
I didn't know how that's how
Miss Ford. You don't know Miss Ford. Miss Ford is a teacher. If you live in North Lido, everyone knows Miss Ford. Miss Ford's been in North Lido teaching everywhere. Because I thought about it. Like I said, I thought she went to North Lido, so that's why it threw me off. But a lot of people know Miss Ford. But she's one of the teachers that was there.
I feel like there was another teacher by that name.
You had a teacher come to school?
I don't know if I had a teacher, but I think I had a teacher in my school called Miss Ford.
Yeah.
So I was like,
every school has a Miss Ford, just how there's always a Martin Luther King Boulevard somewhere everywhere in the world. But listen, man, tell the people where we can reach you. Tell the people how we can support you, what you got going on coming up. You know what I mean? Give us some info on that.
So you can reach me on Instagram at very opulent Negus. Negus is an Ethiopian king. Because I believe that
Negus.
Negus. Yes. So Negus. Yes. That.
But you know, I said that like that because of the Kendrick song. He talks about Negus and he gives the explanation you just gave. So that's why I thought about that. But yeah.
So I'm also on. I'm growing my YouTube channel as well. I have a little bit of content on there. I haven't been very consistent. It's older content. I'm not too happy about it, about the content.
But still, maybe gems on there though.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and that can cause a little bit of analysis paralysis. But you could check out my YouTube channel. There's gonna be some content coming in the future.
Nice.
I'm on Twitter, Jovan Denal, Snapchat, Jovan Denal. Those are the platforms that I mainly use. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out to me. Don't be afraid. I will respond to you. I don't have that many followers. I got 2,000. I'm not 100K yet, so I don't have anyone controlling my social media. So you'll actually be talking to me. So it's an opportunity for you to get me while my price is low. Because
before the come up, get at them. No, for real. No, that it is what it is. Cause, bro, I know exactly, like, saying that, I feel the same way. I'm going to keep it real. Like, get at me now while you can, because we know our intrinsic value. That's why, like, people may hear that, but, like people don't understand the work I put in behind the scenes on educating myself. And that's why I'm so confident in what I do because I know how much I'm pouring into myself, right? So for people who are viewing this, right, you have an opportunity here because we are just like you. But we are leveraged and in the position to where we're going to grow astronomically. You know what I mean? And this is why I'm happy we have this on tape. We have this in the world timetable because we're going to come back to this in about 10 years. I guarantee you it's going to be in a different location. It's going to look a lot different. And we're going to have a lot more shit to talk about, right? Yeah. For real. Let's keep it real. But listen, man, our time is up. So I like to end the podcast with a song that you may or may not know. This song is I Remember by Rod Wave. My boy Jovan gave me this song to put y'all on game too. So as that cues in, remember to subscribe to the page, like, comment. Your opinion matters to me. I really want to hear what you guys thought about this episode. We appreciate it. As the song comes in, like I said, like, subscribe, send this to a friend. Blvd of Champions out. See you guys.
Peace.
Boom.
Yeah, it cut off.
The first one cut off, but it was long. We got at least